It's the Pinkie the Pig Show. Okie dokie, this is me. This is Pinkie the Pig, and it's time for our podcast show, and thank you for listening from all around the universe. We know they're listening. And Planet Earth, thank you for listening to the Pinkie the Pig podcast show, where you can listen, laugh, and learn with an oink and a moo. And I'm here with my excellent friend, Mildred the Moo Cow.
Hi, Pinkie. You're good, huh?
I'm good. I'm so good. I wake up in the morning. It's not that difficult. It's just a personal choice. Are you good?
I'm good. I wake up in the morning. It's not that difficult. It's just a personal choice.
No, we know how to do that. So, guess what?
What?
Penelope made a new friend.
She did?
Yeah, this new girl, she moved to town. And so Lady Lynette invited Penelope's friend over with her mom.
Oh, so they came over?
Yeah, but here's the thing.
What?
Well, I don't want to gossip.
No.
So I'm not going to give her name or her mom's name.
Okay.
But I want to tell you what went down.
Okay.
So, they come over, and Penelope, she has her own little vegetable garden of her own.
Yeah.
So, she brings her little friend over to look at the garden, and Penelope jumps in there, she starts. There's a few weeds in there, so she's picking the weeds. And she asks her friend if she want to come help pick the weeds. And she said, okay. So, she gets in the garden. Well, the mom comes running over. Oh, no, you don't want to get your hands dirty.
Okay.
So Penelope's all, I have gloves. I'll get my gloves. And my friend can wear her gloves. I can't tell the name.
No, I get it. That's fine.
Okay, so she gets the gloves. She brings the gloves back. She gives her little girl the gloves. Well, the gloves are a little bit dirty. They're in the dirt. They're in the soil. They're in the garden. She gives them the gloves. The little girl puts the gloves on. The mom's all, oh no, those gloves are very dirty. So, make a long story short, the little girl didn't get to dig in the garden with Penelope.
Right.
Okay, but Penelope, she's very sweet. She's like, okay, we'll do something else. So Penelope has this little red wagon, and she puts her little stuffed animals in there, and she pulls them around. It's fun. So they're doing that. They're pulling their little wagon. And then Penelope says, why don't you get in the wagon, and I'll pull you, too. And little girl's all, well, do you think you can pull me? And Penelope, she's all, yeah, I can pull my brother. He's 16. I can't pull him very far, but he gets in there. I pull him a little bit. Yeah, he helps me get momentum going, but I can do it. So yeah, get in there. We'll pull each other. So the little girl starts climbing in the wagon. Sure enough, here comes the mom. Oh no, you mustn't get in the wagon. It may tip over. You might get hurt.
Oh, brother.
Yeah, Lady Lynette said that she's a nervous Nelly.
A nervous Nelly.
Yeah, nervous Nelly.
Yeah, that's a person that worries, and they're kind of anxious, and, they're focusing on the negative, and they think something's going to be bad, and they're just nervous.
Yeah, Lady Lynette says she's a nervous Nelly. So anyway, okay, so now they're not doing a wagon. Okay. Penelope, so sweet. She's like, okay, we'll just pull the animals around, those stuff that for a while. They did that for a while. So then they go over. We have this big tree, and it has a rope on it, and it's a swing, but it's not real swing. It's just big knot at the bottom, and the children get on there, and you have to hold on tight and squeeze your legs on top of the knot, and then you swing. So Penelope's doing it, woo, 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 and then so the little girl says, okay, I want to try. So Penelope gets off. The little girl reaches for the rope. She starts to pull up and get in position. And her mom comes running over. Oh, no. That's too dangerous. You mustn't do that. You might get hurt. No, that's not for you.
Yeah.
So, Farmer Tommy said she's a worrywart.
Oh, that's that's not so nice.
Well, a worrywart, that's someone who's they're constantly looking at the negative and that they think the worst thing's going to happen. And some people think that if you touch a frog, you're going to get warts because the frogs have bumps on them.
Yeah.
And people do get warts, the bumps under their skin.
Right, that's a virus. That has nothing to do with a frog.
No, you're not going to get a wart if you touch a frog, although there are poisonous frogs.
Right, that has nothing to do with warts.
Anyway, Farmer Tommy said that her mom's a worrywart.
Well, there's another term for parents. It's called a helicopter parent.
A helicopter parent?
Yes.
Oh, and Mildred, we want to thank Joseph because he contributed his helicopter to the Pinkie the Pig podcast puppet performance today.
Yes, thank you, Joseph.
So the helicopter parent...
Yeah, they're extremely overprotective and they just hover overhead everything that the child does. And they don't allow them to really do anything to harm themselves.
Well, maybe she just doesn't want her to get hurt.
Yeah, but it goes beyond that. It doesn't allow the child to grow and learn and have some kind of adventure and trying to explore the world. And the helicopter parent just doesn't allow the child to develop. And then what happens is over time, and this repetition over and over, then the child becomes very weak and it turns into the child's not capable of anything because it doesn't get to try.
Right, but if the child gets to try, then he becomes stronger.
Right, and the child becomes resilient.
Resilient?
Right, that's because the child tries and fails. The child tries and he may get hurt, but the child continues to try. So the child becomes resilient because the child realizes that even if I fail, I can try again and do better. But the helicopter parent takes that away from the child, and the child's never allowed to learn it on his own.
Yeah, that's what life is about. You try, you learn, you fail, you try again.
Correct. And there's another term that's prevalent right now. It's called the lawnmower parent.
What was that?
The lawnmower parent cuts down any obstacle that could keep their child from succeeding. So it just removes any situation that would require the child to struggle. And that's how a child learns, if you struggle. But if you don't struggle, you don't learn how to make the effort in life.
Yeah.
I mean, it's extremely important and beneficial that parents are involved in their children's lives. But you have to let the children learn on their own. You can't just remove all of the obstacles and create a cushy situation.
No, because then they feel entitled that everything should be theirs without any effort at all.
Yeah. All right, Pinkie, we're just going to end the podcast with a very famous quote from William Edward Hickson. And he said, "If at first you don't succeed, try again."
Yes, thank you. Okay, Mildred. Talk to you tomorrow. I love you.
I love you.